A father finishes a 12-hour shift thousands of miles from home. Before he goes to sleep, he opens his phone. He sends money to his wife. Seconds later, she buys groceries for their children. The transaction feels almost magical. One tap. Money moves across the world. But almost nobody asks the question, how? How does money actually travel from one side of the planet to the other? Who verifies it? Who protects it? Who keeps track of it? And why are thousands of engineers, banks, governments, and technology companies trying to rebuild the system behind that single tap? This isn't just a story about cryptocurrency. It isn't even a story about money. It's the story of one of the largest technological transformations quietly happening beneath the surface of our everyday lives. Most revolutions announce themselves. This one doesn't. Every day, more than trillions of dollars move through a financial system that most people never see. Businesses pay employees. Families send money across borders. Investors buy companies. Governments move funds. Banks settle transactions. Credit cards are approved. Wire transfers are completed. Everything appears effortless, almost invisible. But beneath every payment exists one of the most sophisticated networks humanity has ever created. Millions of computers, thousands of financial institutions, payment processors, fraud detection systems, security networks, communication systems, working together every second. When everything works, nobody notices. That's the strange thing about great infrastructure. Its greatest success is becoming invisible. History teaches us something fascinating. The biggest changes rarely feel important while they're happening. Electricity, the automobile, the internet, the smartphone. Each one quietly entered the world, long before most people understood what it would eventually become. The future almost never arrives all at once. It arrives one improvement at a time. One invention, one breakthrough, one better system. Until one day, the old way simply feels old. Today, something similar may be happening again. Not with one company, not with one cryptocurrency, not with one government, but with an entire financial system beginning to ask one question. Can money move better? To understand why so many people are trying to improve the financial system, we first have to understand something surprising. Money doesn't actually move the way most people think it does. When you tap your phone to pay for lunch, it feels instant. But behind that simple payment, an incredible chain of events begins. Your bank communicates. Payment networks verify information. Fraud detection systems evaluate risk. Security systems authenticate the transaction. Settlement systems begin their work. Records are updated. Multiple organizations coordinate together, all in just a matter of seconds. It's one of the greatest engineering achievements of the modern world. And because it works so well, most people never think about it. But every successful system eventually reaches the same crossroads. Can it become faster? Can it become safer? Can it become more efficient? Those questions are now driving one of the largest waves of financial innovation in history. Not because the existing system has failed, because every generation tries to improve the systems it inherits. The same thing happened with communication. Letters became telephones. Telephones became email. Email became instant messaging. Each step wasn't about replacing everything overnight. It was about solving one problem a little better than before. Finance may be entering a similar chapter. Around the world, banks are researching. Technology companies are experimenting. Payment providers are investing. Universities are publishing new research. Governments are studying digital financial infrastructure. Thousands of people are working on one shared challenge. How do we build a financial system that's ready for the next 50 years? Not just the last 50. That question is quietly reshaping one of the most important systems on Earth. And almost nobody is talking about it. While millions of people watch daily price charts, The builders are focused on something much bigger: infrastructure. Because history has shown something remarkable. The companies that build infrastructure often shape the future long before the rest of the world realizes it's happening. For years, most of the public conversation has focused on one thing: price. Bitcoin goes up. Bitcoin goes down. Markets rally. Markets fall. Headlines appear. Social media explodes. But behind all of that noise, a different conversation has been taking place. Not among traders, among engineers, software developers, payment companies, banks, researchers, and business leaders. Their question isn't, what will the price be next month? Their question is much bigger. What should the financial system look like for the next generation? That single question has created thousands of experiments around the world. Some projects are exploring faster international payments. Others are working on digital identity. Some focus on security. Others on settlement. Some are researching tokenization. Others are studying how existing financial systems can become more efficient. Most people will never hear about the majority of these projects, because infrastructure rarely makes headlines. Think about the internet. Very few people know the names of the companies that move internet traffic around the globe. Most people simply expect the internet to work. Financial infrastructure is similar. The strongest systems often become invisible. And yet, without them, nothing else functions. That's why understanding infrastructure matters. Not because every project will succeed. Many won't. Innovation has always involved failure. History remembers the breakthroughs. It rarely remembers the thousands of attempts that came before them. That's true in aviation, medicine, computing, and it's true in finance. So instead of asking, which project will win? Perhaps a better question is, what problems are intelligent people trying to solve? Because problems create innovation. Innovation creates industries. And industries reshape the world. The biggest financial story may not be one cryptocurrency. It may be the quiet rebuilding of the systems that move money itself. That story deserves our attention. Not because we know how it ends, but because we're watching it unfold in real time. Whenever history changes, it usually begins with a question, not an answer. The question today is simple. What should we be paying attention to? Not, what should we buy? Not, which coin will go higher? Those are different questions. If history teaches us anything, it is that the biggest opportunities often begin long before they become obvious. The internet wasn't built in 1 year. Artificial intelligence wasn't created overnight. Modern smartphones didn't suddenly appear. Each breakthrough was built upon thousands of smaller breakthroughs that came before it. Financial technology is following a similar path. So instead of chasing every headline, let's step back. What deserves our attention? First, the companies building infrastructure. The businesses creating the systems that allow value to move more efficiently. Second, the technologies solving real-world problems. Not because every solution will succeed, but because solving meaningful problems has always attracted the world's brightest engineers and entrepreneurs. Third, institutional adoption. When large organizations begin investing time, research, and resources into a technology, it deserves attention. Not because it guarantees success, but because it signals that something important may be developing. Fourth, regulation. History shows that major technological shifts eventually require new rules. Watching how governments and regulators respond often tells us just as much as watching the technology itself. Finally, education. The people who continue learning usually recognize important changes earlier than those who ignore them. Knowledge compounds. Curiosity compounds. Understanding compounds. That's why our goal is different. We're not building a prediction channel. We're building a research channel. Every documentary asks the same question. What deserves our attention today? That might still matter 10 years from now. Because the future isn't built by people who know everything. It's built by people who never stop learning. And that may be the greatest advantage anyone can develop. There is one lesson that history teaches over and over again. The people who benefit the most from change are rarely the people who predict the future. They're the people who understand it. Think about the internet. The biggest winners weren't necessarily the people who guessed every successful website. They were the people who understood that the internet itself would transform the world. The same lesson applies today. Instead of asking, "What will happen next?" perhaps we should ask, "What forces are changing the world right now?" That's a much better question. Because forces create trends. Trends create industries. Industries create companies. And companies shape history. That is why we believe attention is one of the most valuable assets anyone can develop. Every day, thousands of headlines compete for your attention. Most will be forgotten within a week. A few will quietly change the world. Our job is not to tell you which investment to make. Our job is to help you recognize the stories that deserve deeper research. The technologies worth following. The industries worth understanding. The companies worth watching. The questions worth asking. Sometimes those stories will involve cryptocurrency. Sometimes they'll involve artificial intelligence. Sometimes banking. Sometimes robotics. Sometimes energy. Sometimes something entirely unexpected. The subject will change, but the mission never will. We explain complicated things that people desperately want to understand. Because understanding creates confidence. Confidence creates better decisions. And better decisions shape better futures. The future isn't built by people who know everything. It's built by people who stay curious long enough to recognize important change before it becomes obvious. That is the journey we're inviting you to join. Not for one video. Not for one trend. But for years to come. One day. Years from now. You may wake up. Pay for breakfast. Send money to a friend. Receive your paycheck. Buy a house. Start a business. Invest in a company. And never realize. The financial system beneath those everyday moments quietly became something very different from the one we use today. That's how history usually works. History doesn't arrive with fireworks. It arrives quietly. One improvement. One invention. One company. One idea. One better system. Until eventually, the old way simply becomes history. No one knows exactly what the financial system will look like 10 years from now. Anyone who claims they do is probably oversimplifying an incredibly complicated story. But we do know this. The world will continue changing. Technology will continue evolving. People will continue building. And somewhere, right now, someone is working on the next improvement that millions of people may one day use without ever knowing their name. That's why curiosity matters. That's why research matters. That's why understanding matters. Not because understanding guarantees success, but because understanding helps us recognize meaningful change while it is still quietly unfolding. That is the mission of this channel. Not predictions. Not hype. Not noise. Understanding. Because the people who continue learning, the people who continue asking better questions, often discover better answers. And the people who understand the forces shaping tomorrow are usually better prepared for whatever tomorrow brings. Our goal isn't to tell you what to buy. Our goal is to help you understand what deserves your attention. Welcome to Cryptocurrency TV. This documentary is based on publicly available information and is intended solely for educational purposes. It should not be considered financial, investment, tax, or legal advice. Always verify information through official sources and consult qualified professionals before making financial decisions.